If 100 people register for your webinar, 70% are already gone before you even start. Let that sink in. So you're running ads, writing emails, building funnels, and then you show up live to a half-empty room. But here's what no one has told you. It's not a traffic or ads problem. You have what I call a webinar system leak. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact 4-pillar webinar marketing framework we use at Radical Marketing for over a decade to not just get webinar registrations, but to actually get sales. And make sure you stay at least until pillar 3 because there is a hack that almost nobody uses, and it alone can boost your show-up rates by 30% or more. So first of all, here's why most webinars are not profitable, because most people are fixing the wrong thing. They think, I need better ads, I need more leads, I need a better funnel. Sure, all that is important, but here's the mistake I see a lot of people overlooking. The truth is their webinar system is broken. There are 3 silent failures happening in almost every webinar campaign. But the good news is you can easily fix them. Failure 1 is the wrong topic. You pick something interesting, but not everybody feels like they must attend live because there's no urgency, there's no outcome or any reason to care right now. So the key thing is to pick a topic that people actually care enough to show up for. For example, improve public speaking versus stop getting overlooked for promotions. Same topic, but framed differently. Improve public speaking, a nice to have, versus stop getting overlooked for promotions, something that is really hurting them right now. So if you promise to fix a pain, people will come for the medicine. Now, failure 2 is poor promotion. So when it comes to promoting the webinar, people have no messaging system. All they think about is about copying a whole bunch of their competitors' ads, making a few tweaks, and launching it. Problem with this approach, you end up sounding like everybody else. You become forgettable, and you wonder why hardly anybody shows up. But that's actually not the biggest failure, because the biggest one is bad follow-up. So you spend a lot of money for someone to sign up, and then silence? Maybe until 1 hour before the event, you send an email. At that point, they've forgotten you. They've forgotten why they even registered in the first place, and they're definitely not showing up. And after the event, apart from a replay, there's no strategy to engage the no-shows. Can you see why now? These are not tactic problems. They are actually system failures, which means if you don't fix the system, no amount of ads, copy, or hacks will actually save your webinar. So let me show you the full system we have used to make dozens of our clients highly profitable. We call this the Perpetual Webinar Profit Engine. And the most profitable webinars you see out there have systems that follow this exact structure. So what are they? Pillar 1, topic. Make them have to register. Pillar 2, traffic. Get them to the page. Pillar 3, show up. Get them in the room. And Pillar 4, convert them. Turn more leads into revenue. The magic happens when all 4 pillars are working together. So let's talk about Pillar 1. Here's the mistake a lot of people make. They obsess over Pillar 2, which is traffic. But then they spend hours writing a perfect ad. But then it comes to the webinar topic, they spend 10 minutes like an afterthought of coming up with it. But the topic is where everything starts. Because if your topic is weak, nothing else matters. When you're coming up with a topic, it's simple. Make them feel stupid for not registering. Here's the formula we generally use. The specific outcome plus a time frame plus remove objection is your best formula. So for example, how to fill 100 webinar seats in 14 days timeframe without a big budget, which is the big challenge. Remember, you want to solve a problem here with a topic. But let me give you 3 types of topics that work like honey attracting ads. Number 1, outcome topics, clear measurable results. Number 2, curiosity topics that creates a knowledge gap. And number 3, problem reversal topics. Flip a belief, like how to trade less to make more money. Now, the worst topics are actually the ones that people do the most, which are educational topics. Let me teach you about marketing frameworks. But no one wakes up thinking, oh geez, I need to learn more marketing frameworks today. They wake up thinking, I need to get more customers. So before you run ads to your webinar, why not post your topic as a question to your social media and ask people, hey, would you attend a webinar if I did something on this topic? If it doesn't get any responses, then move on to the next topic. And one rule you must follow is never give away the full answer in the title, only the promise. That's what we call the curiosity gap. So instead of saying how to improve webinar attendance with email, say the real reason your webinar attendance is low. Now that we've talked about the topic, let's dive into how to generate traffic that converts. So this is pillar 2 and where people put in most of the effort into traffic. Strange thing is, it actually provides the lowest ROI for your time because as you know, you can spend a lot of time on traffic but get very little returns. But it still matters, so let's cover it. We use what I call a marketing channel stacking strategy. So here's how it works. Your first channel is paid ads. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Your job here is not to explain everything. Your ads should create a pattern and throughout. Here's the simple formula that I'm going to give to you. First of all, call out the problem. Number 2, tease the outcome. And number 3, open the loop that can only be closed by attending the webinar. For example, if I run a webinar on webinars, most webinars fail before they even start. Here's why. Or we tested 27 webinar funnels, only one worked. And channel 2 is email. If you have a list, this is fantastic. The mistake most people make is blasting everyone with the same message. Here's the key thing you need to do. Segment your email list. Message people based on their past engagement. Send different angles based on their segments. And finally, use curiosity-driven subject lines. And channel 3 is organic. I'm talking about your content, your posts, your communities. It doesn't matter if 10 people or 10,000 people see your posts, because this is where trust gets built. People who want to attend your webinar will check out your website, will check out your socials, so make sure it's active. Even if you do this all right, you can still fail, because this is where most marketers completely drop the ball, which is the next pillar, the show up maximizer. And this is the most ignored pillar, and yet has the most leverage. Why? Because the average show up rate for most webinars from paid ads, 20 to 30%. So if you just improve show up rates by a little bit, your bottom line can be vastly different. So here's how you boost it. First, you need to shift how you think. You're not just reminding them, you are building anticipation. All this actually starts on the thank you page itself, because this is where you still have their full attention before they scoot off and watch canned videos. So your thank you page should do 3 things. Number 1, affirm their decision to sign up. Number 2, remind them of the pain you're going to help them to fix. And 3, get them to do a simple activity. Simple activity can be to add this event to your calendar, get them to download a worksheet. This immediately boosts the likelihood of them showing up because they are committed by actually taking action. So let's talk about emails next. We use 3 distinct email sequences to get people to show up. First is the welcome email. This is where you confirm and set expectations. Give them the details of the webinar and remind them to do the activities that you asked them to do on the thank you page. Sequence 2, it's the indoctrination sequence. This is where you get them to know and like and trust you. It could be a few emails giving them your personal story, quick piece of content, a quick win, teach them about how they are going to get so much more at your webinar. And finally, you have a reminder sequence, and it's about making sure they are reminded to show up. We start the sequence about 3 days before the event with teasers, testimonials, short case studies, and they're all designed to build trust and excitement for the webinar. Remember, every message is not just a reminder, it's a micro sell. You are reselling the webinar over and over again. And if you really want to push this, I suggest adding WhatsApp or SMS, because if you do that right, this alone can increase your show up by 20%. And if you want to push things to the next level, call up people who have signed up, either with a human or a voice AI. Now, let's say they show up for the webinar. Most people still mess it up. That's why this system is not complete until you have pillar number 4, which is the sales conversion system. Getting attention is one thing, but turning it into revenue, that's kind of like a different game. So to create a webinar that converts, you need a formula. I'll break it down very simply. Part 1 is the hook and credibility in the first 5 minutes. This is where you answer why they should listen to you. Why now? Bring up the common problems they are facing. Tell them how your webinar is going to address this problem. Part 2 is you give them content with open loops. This is about 70% of your webinar. This is where you're gonna teach and deliver value, but this is also where most amateurs stumble. They open and close every loop, whereas experts will open loops, close them, and reopen with new loops. This creates tension and makes them want to keep listening on and find out what is the next step. So let me give you an example. Instead of saying buy stocks with earnings growth and hold long term, say most investors don't lose money because they pick bad stocks, but because they enter the wrong time. I'll be revealing the 3 entry signals I look for. And part 3, this is the pitch, your final 20%. This is where most people choke, they teach everything, and then they go soft of the offer. They say, I hope you got lots of value from today, and if you want to learn more, please consider my course. Look, here's the truth. If you don't sell properly, you are doing your audience a huge disservice. But the transition is the key from delivering value to selling. So don't make it awkward, make it logical. The best way to do this is tell them you are going to make them an offer right up front in the webinar, but you will still give them tremendous value with a webinar. So that's the best way to do it so that you don't feel awkward in the transition. But here's the thing, you're not done at the webinar. You should continue to follow up after the webinar, like sending out the replay, directing them to a video sales letter page, and having a deadline closing date, for example. These will help you generate more sales after the event. There's much more to it, but I just want to keep it simple for now. But if you want to know how we continue to generate sales and conversions for weeks and even months after the webinar itself, then you want to watch me dissect my Perpetual profit engine, which I'll link down here. So let's summarize this. You got 4 pillars. You got your topic, your traffic, your show up, your converts. Each one is feeding the next. If one breaks, the whole system doesn't work. So if you're starting from scratch, start with pillar 1, which is work on your topic. If you already have a list, start with pillar 3, your show-up rates, because that's where your biggest gains are. Because you don't really need more leads, you need to maximize the ones you already have. Then once you have enough people showing up, work on pillar 4 so you can convert more attendees and get more sales. And finally, when you're ready to scale, then you go back and fix pillar 2, which is the traffic. Now, once you fix these 4 pillars and you want to generate even more sales from each lead, remember, check out my video on creating your Perpetual profit engine right here. And if you're serious about scaling your business webinars with paid ads, funnels, and conversion systems, hit subscribe because I give out regular tips on this channel. And one last thing, I'm curious, what is your biggest bottleneck right now? Is it getting registrations, getting people to show up, or converting? Drop it in the comments, I read every single one. And finally, again, remember to check out my Perpetual profit engine right here if you want to make your webinars even more profitable. Thanks for watching.